Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about aging as continuation of a process in our society where we're disconnected from who we are. We're disconnected from our bodies, therefore we're disconnected from what's natural. The fact that we're still kind of talking about whether to accept or not accept this completely natural process in life is a testament of what's actually going on. We're expected to hide aging as if aging is shameful. And it's interesting because as I was reflecting on this today, I remembered that there were so many other moments in my life where I found the changes within my body as a woman shameful. For example, as a teenager, I found that as my hips were becoming wider or as my body was changing because of the transformation of stepping into my teenage years, it felt shameful. Even the budding breasts that I had felt shameful. I remember going to gym classes and wearing certain clothes, and remember that I kind of felt compelled to hide these these like early breasts. Then when I started menstruating, my mother was teaching me to hide the fact that I had my period, that nobody in the household was supposed to know. So forget about even talking about this openly, but it's like I had to flinch, or I had to hide, or I had to deny. And then, of course, as a young woman, I had to work in corporate world in the States. I also, whether I felt well or unwell during my period, it wasn't something to talk about. I felt reluctant to call in to take those days as a day off, and I don't think I ever did. And then I just feel like I was policing my body to behave in a way that allowed me to function in this world designed for men, and to take a day or two or three off every month, in order to attend to address my needs and to let my body rest was just unthinkable. And so this whole conversation about aging and how it's again something that I'm supposed to be hiding, it just feels so abnormal, um, with all that women are prepared to do to hide their age. I think we are more and more losing the understanding of what a woman, at 59 like me, actually looks like. It's interesting that most women don't see that by resisting aging, that by being ashamed around aging, by hiding aging, by continuing to remain in that sense of, trying to be perfect again, or trying to fit into some outside standard, that it's part of the war on ourselves that we've been fighting since we were little girls. Over the summer, I spent some time with my mom and my sister's mother-in-law, who I was amazed spent a lot of time talking about maintaining their youthfulness, dating, remaining slim. And I guess there is nothing wrong with it per se, but that conversation really struck me as a conversation more among young women. I don't know, for me at this age, I feel like I'm done talking about remaining thin, and I'm done talking about dating, and I'm done talking about how to be youthful. I just think that it's a new stage in our lives, and there are other things that we can devote our thoughts to. And not to say that I'm a relationship coach, so I talk about relationships and dating all the time, but more and more my focus on relationships is based on my relationship with myself. The way I relate to myself is what I bring into all of my relationships, whether it's with my partner or my friends or my children or people I meet on the street. And I believe that if our relationship with ourselves is based on either pretending or manipulation or control of a natural process within us, we're setting ourselves up for something that we will suffer from, something that we ultimately don't want. We all want to be seen. This is what I hear all the time. We all want to be seen and connected and belong. And yet then we spend so much of our efforts trying to belong by self-disappearing, by, repressing our needs, by hiding and shaming the natural expression of our bodies. And I think that this is actually the essence of the problems and the issues that we're seeing in society at large right now. There is this overall disconnect from what's natural for us as humans, as women in particular, and that affects all of our relationships. And yet when our relationships become artificial, when our relationships are based on surface, when our relationships are created from, again, manipulation and control, then we're not being seen for who we are. That means we're creating a kind of boundary or a wall behind which we're hiding, and people cannot see us for who we are. And we suffer from that, and yet we're the only ones who can give ourselves means to give ourselves permission to be seen for who we are, by accepting who we are and by allowing ourselves to be who we are. And so the more we can accept that, kind of stop shaming, the more we can unshaming who we are, no matter what age, the more we can allow ourselves to be visible in exactly the space that we are and find ourselves right now. This is when we can start to finally allow others to see us in the way that we need to be seen. And that's when true connection can actually happen. But it starts with you. It starts with us. And I think, we're in a unique position when we're stepping into this eldership, when we become an elder, it's an opportunity to kind of break out of all these conditioned responses and conditioned behaviors that we've inherited, where, trying to be somebody else, hiding who we actually are, finding our bodies and all the byproducts shameful. This is the time when we can actually choose something else, and for whatever time we have left of this life, actually dabble in what feels true, what feels real, and create relationships from this unmasked space. Tell me how this lands for you and what you think about these subjects. I'm very eager to know. See you tomorrow.